Hello guys, it's a warm welcome back to the channel. This is Alpha Omega Daily. This video is all about depression. We've all suffered from it from time to time to some degree, I'd say. But it's more in keeping, the video is more kind of to do with depression in Thailand. But depression is depression wherever you are. And the severity, I don't pretend to know all about it. Again, as I'm saying, I don't quote statistics. This guy is quoting a few statistics here. I hope he doesn't park himself there. Jesus. That's exactly what he's doing. I better move on because he's not going to shut up and I don't want to be shouting over him. So I've moved up the street a little bit because that was a little bit too noisy. But anyway, getting straight into this. It doesn't matter where you are or what stage of life you're at. Depression can strike anyone at any time. And from my experience, and again, I'm not quoting statistics, as I say, I quote from my own experience. I've had more than one bout with depression. Most of them, obviously, back home in Ireland, because I lived the majority of my life in Ireland. I've only been here 10 years and I'm 58. So, essentially, I won't go into the detail on my depression back home, but when I was about, I think around 14 or 15, I went through what they call, obviously, puberty, and there's a degree of depression associated with it. It was hell. It was actually terrible, actually. I can't even begin to explain what it was like, but it's just that obviously your body goes through changes, and it affects some people more than others. But I don't know. I've never spoken to anyone about this really, but I woke up one morning and everything was different. I can't explain it. The start of winter is mid-November. I remember the sky was kind of a milky, kind of a yellowy, horrible colour at midday. You know, the sun sets so early in the Northern Hemisphere, that part of the Northern Hemisphere in the winter. Anyway, that was my first experience of it, and it was hell for me for about, let's say, about a year or so. I learned early on in life at that stage that when you suffer from stuff like that, either physically or psychologically, it's not going to get better like that. It gets better over a period of time, and that's something I've learned. You know, any bout with illness, you're not going to wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be gone. It takes time, and that's one of the things about depression. It takes time. Basically, that episode that I had was caused by a physiological change in me, going through puberty. Looking back on it, that's what it was. But the depression that strikes you, the depression that can strike you in Thailand is more circumstantial. And I'd say most of you can identify with a lot of what I'm saying, even at this stage of the video. But for example, you can come here and expect Disney World or Disneyland, and to a large extent that's what you get. You can go out drinking, you're partying, you know, doing what you do and enjoying the company of the girls, and it's wonderful. But I've seen guys in Pattaya during the COVID crisis, and now on top of circumstantial, you see, this is circumstance. I don't know what they were doing. They looked like they'd ran out of money. They were sitting on the beach during the day drinking beer, and they looked like they hadn't got two bob to rub together, or as they used to say in Ireland, didn't have a pot to piss in. And basically the look on their faces was distraught, and it just brought it home to me. But by the way, at that stage, during the COVID crisis, Pattaya was probably one of the most depressing places you could imagine. I walked up Walking Street at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night in the middle of the COVID thing, when there was no tourism in Thailand, no one coming in. All the lights were off, and it was grey, and you could see it for what it actually is. Walking Street is just, well, it's totally artificial, it's totally contrived. And without the contrived, let's say, pyrotechnics, in other words, the lighting and that, and the liveliness of the crowds, it was absolutely nothing, and it was quite depressing. And people expats living in Pattaya at that time, what could they do? Most of the bars were closed. They had limited funds because they couldn't get back home or something like that, because the Thai government were issuing extensions on visas and things like that because to allow for this COVID situation. And there was a lot of depression. You could sense it in the air. And from time to time with me, I kind of get this. Like today, for example, as you can tell, it's grey and overcast. That's not unusual in Bangkok. Okay, it's fairly hot. But I've often said to myself, if it was like this in Bangkok, which it is, but it had the temperature of Dublin, which is about 5 degrees on a winter's day, it would just be exactly the same. It would be exactly the same. And basically, when you feel depressed, it doesn't matter where you are, it feels exactly the same as it would anywhere else. And the circumstantial depression, for me, would come with the anxiety of something that's happening, or something that I expected to happen and didn't happen, or a disappointment or a worry. I can just tell you at this stage that I garner my living. I get my income from YouTube to a large extent, and I look forward to the payment from YouTube every month. And just give you a heads up, Google AdSense pay between the 21st, they release the funds between the 21st and 26th of the month. And one morning I woke up there not too long ago and I got an email, your AdSense account has been closed. And I went on to the email and I read through it, and it said your AdSense account has been closed. So straight away I went onto my AdSense account, because that's how you get paid on YouTube, and the depression had sunk in already. I was down in the dumps. I was distraught. I said, this is how I get my out. What has happened? Have I been hacked? What's gone on? But it turned out that it's a technical thing with Google AdSense. There's more than YouTube creators garnering an income on Google AdSense. Yeah, there's lots of other people doing different things. So there's two aspects of Google AdSense. There's the YouTube aspect and there's the other aspect. I forget what it's called, but they close the other one for all YouTube creators that don't use it, while keeping the YouTube one open. And the email just said your Google AdSense account, I forget the actual terminology of it. I'll try and find the email and put it up here. If I don't, I don't. But I'm trying to. I think I will put it up here. But it turned out okay. But the depression, I mean it. It's something to do with an insecurity. An insecurity. That's what it is. It's something to do with an insecurity of living here, because you are insecure. I'm not a citizen, and it's not likely that I'll ever be a citizen. I mean, there's a whole video in that if you want to hear about it. But Thailand is, and this is not a derogatory term, it's a factual term, Thailand is a xenophobic country. To get citizenship here, you got to jump through hoops, and I mean that. But we won't go into that in this video. So life in Thailand is fraught with, let's say, circumstantial depression. You're not part of the mainstream society here. It runs parallel unless you speak the language. Well, it's not even unless, but if you speak the language fluently, it's less of a parallel universe. But if you don't speak the language fluently, and I don't, I just speak it, and I speak it enough to get by, you miss out on loads of things, and that isolates you. And that isolation can lead to a sense of depression. So if you feel down in the dumps, just question it. Is it circumstantial, or is it something else? If it's circumstantial, you can rectify that by changing the circumstance, or trying to change the circumstance. If it's physiological, I mean, that's something it's a completely different story. But all I'll say to you is that a positive, and I know you've heard it before, but a positive approach will change a lot of things. Physical exercise here, fellas, get into it. I got into it, I got out of it, have to get into it again. Changing your diet, go on the keto diet. Do something that makes you feel good about yourself, and that will make you feel better in general. This is my take on an experience, or experiences that I am having and have had in Thailand, and I'm sharing them with you. So I hope you garnered something from this video. I'd be very interested to hear your comments. What's your experience of depression, either at home or here in Thailand? Is it physiological or is it circumstantial? Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. And make sure, guys, if you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button, click the like button, click the share button, do all those wonderful things. And I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.